Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your crazy girl, Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. I just had to finish up with a client, so, that's going to take precedence until I can actually keep paying and, I don't know, pay for my mortgage. Who knows where I'm going to end up in the next couple of weeks. It's all kinds of fun. Can't wait! Homelessness, here I come. Isn't it great? All right, but until then, until this government takes everything away from me, probably even my voice, maybe my dignity at some point, let's learn some math. All right, so last night we came across a situation of when do I use the dots and when do I don't? And I was like, what are you guys talking about with the inequalities? But then I came to realization, you're probably talking about, solving inequalities as well as graphing them. So let's take a quick little zoom all the way into the front. All right, so here we are. If we have less than or greater than, it's going to be an open circle. I don't know why we say open circle, because a circle, it's pretty much open, right? But this is something that kind of dragged over with all our stuff. But when you have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you're basically going to use a dot. I know they like to say a closed dot, but I got to the point where I feel rebellious. I was just going to call it a dot, right? So this works when you're doing it on a number line. All right, when you do the open and close, you're doing with a number line. I'm going to talk a little bit about the interval notation in a moment, but let's take a quick little recap on how to solve and to graph inequalities. So this is when you have one variable, okay? You're only going to have one variable. You're not going to have an X and a Y. That's going to be dabbling more into the interval notation. All right. That's when you're looking into the whole shading. But right now we're just going to do a little bit of solving. So let's do some multi-step. So first example, we have negative 11 is greater than or equal to 6 minus 2n minus 5. Why not? Okay. So when you're solving this, you want to do exactly the same thing when you're solving the equation. You want to isolate your variable. But luckily right here, we actually have like terms on the same side of the equal sign. So 6 minus 5, that will give me my 1. So I'm going to put my positive 1 here. I'm going to bring in my negative 2n, my greater than or equal to sign, and my negative 11. So we want to isolate our n. So that negative 2n is going to stay right where it is. But I'm going to subtract this 1 on both sides. So negative 1 minus 1, that gives me a 0. And I don't need the 0 as a placeholder because right now I still have that negative 2n. So I'm going to bring down my negative 2n. I'm going to bring down my greater than or equal to. And now I have a negative 11 minus 1. That gives me a negative 12. So this is the part that gets people. So I want to get n by itself. I have negative 2n. That means negative 2 times n. So I want to divide both sides by negative 2. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 gives me a positive 1, or you can just simply say n. Negative 12 divided by negative 2, that gives me a positive 6. But this is what happens. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, not because you got a negative answer, But when you multiply or divide by a negative number, that's when you change your inequality sign. You change the direction of the sign. So it's not going to be greater than or equal to. In fact, it's going to be less than or equal to. And since we are so used to reading from left to right, we're saying that 6 is less than or equal to n. So if 6 is less than or equal to n, that means n is greater than or equal to 6. See how I flipped it? Okay, so now I want to graph it. So I'm just going to grab one of my pens and I'm going to do a number line, I think. There we go. So nice, simple number line. We're not going to go too crazy. And instead of drawing out the whole entire number line, since we have basically one solution at 6, we can do it like this. And we're saying that n is greater than or equal to 6. So that means I'm dealing with numbers that are at 6 and larger. But this is what? I need to include 6. That's why we're putting a dot. So the dot is representing the inclusion of 6. So from 6 all the way to positive infinity. Okay. Okay. How are we doing? All right, good. Welcome on in, guys. Sorry I'm a little late. As I said earlier, I was finishing up with a client and I have to deal with those guys first. All right. This was your question yesterday? Good. Yay. Now, we're going to do another one. Let's see if we could. Let's step it up a notch. All right, so let's step it up. So let's go. All right, when I say a notch, I really mean I'm going to step it up. So here we go. So we have 30 minus 6x, which is less than negative 3 times 5 plus 7x. You're probably like, oh, good God, Audrey, you didn't have to step up that much. But, yeah, I did. All right. If it was just n is greater than 6, would that be open? That would be open, yes. If it doesn't have the line underneath it, it's going to be open. If it has the line underneath it, it will be closed. Okay. Hey Janice, how are you? Yep, I'm doing another one. All right. Oh, hey, baby. This is under Algebra, correct. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on all the things that's kind of written on here. All right, not a problem. Okay, welcome on in, everyone. I appreciate that you are here. Moody Nightfly, how are you? You always catch me on a day that I'm just not feeling myself, but here we go. All right, so here we go. First thing that I'm looking at both sides of the inequality. I don't have like terms over here, but I do have something that's happening over here. So I could distribute this negative 3 to everything over there. So instead of looking at it as one big equation, this is what I like to do. Let's cover up so we can focus on one side at a time. So now from here, you have negative 3 times 5, which gives me a negative 15. And negative 3 times a positive 7x, a negative times a positive gives me a negative 21x. Then everything over here gets brought down. Okay? Yeah, I multiplied by a negative, but I didn't multiply to take it to the other side. So that's why my inequality is going to stay exactly where it is. Same direction, everything. So I just bring down my 30 minus my 6x. One thing that's different with this is we have a variable on both sides of that inequality. So we need to decide what's going to move. Do we want it on the left-hand side or do we want it on the right-hand side? Okay, boot, yes, it is. Math is its own language. 7 more days to go. You got it. You got it. All right. So, yes, I totally agree with you, Yaya. Let's add this 21x to both sides. Okay. So they can cancel out. Now, this is another thing we can do. If we're moving our x's over here, couldn't we move this 30 over here to kind of put everything on, I don't know, one line? I mean, we can't. We could subtract this 30. I know we're being so rebellious, putting it all on one line. Because if I subtract the 30, 30 minus 30 gives me 0. But I don't need the 0 because I still have this negative 6 plus 21 to deal with. See how things just kind of even things out a little bit? All right. So, what do we got here? God is good. How are you? So how many lines we're doing here? How many lines? Just one. Just one line. Because we're not doing of a coordinate plane. So this is not a linear inequality. Just one number line. All right, so 21 minus 6. Why am I breaking out? Here we go. 15. So we got our 15x. Bring down our less than sign. Negative 15 minus 30 gives me a negative 45. All right, good. Thank you, everyone. So we divide both sides by that positive 15. So do we change the direction of my inequality? Do we change the direction of the sign? Okay, so you want to get the distribution out of the way. Okay, no, we do not. Because right here, we are dividing by a positive number. Although we're going to get a negative answer, but we actually divide it by a positive number. So this gives us x is less than negative 3. Okay, so we don't have to do any flipping and flopping because we're used to reading from left to right. Okay. So now we can just do our number line. Since we're dealing with that one number, let's just put it right here. It could be in the middle, could be off to the side. Now, open or closed? What are we thinking? Nice, Moody. Good job. That is awesome. Can we get a pay raise? Are they going to do it? Yes. Good. Open. Good. Open. 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 Oh, it's less than. There we go. Not a problem. I know, right? So yes, since it doesn't have the line underneath it, so it's going to be open. And then all the numbers that's going to make this a true statement, because that's why you're doing inequalities. You're trying to get a true statement. So we're dealing with numbers that are less than negative 3. So we're looking at all the numbers to the left, all the way to negative infinity. Okay. Okay. So Shug, what's Talk to me. What's confusing? To the less, to the less. There you go. Hey, I do tutoring and I got openings because I got a lot of kids that all of a sudden they're like, their teacher's like, oh yeah, you got an A, so you're exempt from the exam. So that kind of threw me. Hey C4, thank you so much. How would you know that it's open or closed, Zach? Hello again. So taking a look at our lovely little rule. If it doesn't have, your inequality sign does not have the line underneath it, it's going to be open. If it includes it, if it has the line underneath it, it's going to be closed. It's going to be a dot. All right. Yep. You can use the arrow. You can use the inequality almost as an arrowhead. That's the only thing that saves me. All right, so one more, definitely. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to show you interval notation, okay? Similar concept, but with a major little twist. I love how I say major and little at the same time. All right? Can I request a problem? No, you cannot. No, seriously, you cannot. Am I in Michigan? No, but I do tutor a couple students in Michigan. I do online tutoring. Okay. All right. Can get a visual. Okay. All right. So now, let's try this one. Okay. Again, multi-step. Let me see what you can do. Let's see how you can graph. I'm not going to kill you, but this is going to be a little bit, just a little challenging. Because if you know how to do multi-step with just regular finding out and isolating the one variable, you should be able to do this. I think that's a plus sign. Yeah. Okay, give that one a try. Try to do to the best of your ability. C4, you're in Baltimore too? Let me find out you like my neighbor or something weird. I didn't know that. What part? East or west? You don't have to get like two. You haven't seen this since college, Pat. I know. Bringing it back like hot pants or pedal pushers or capris. Okay. I thought if you add -15 to the answer would be positive. No, that's in multiplication, Kimberly. Yeah, a negative times a negative will give you a positive. But when the signs are the same and you're adding, you're keeping that sign. What's in the parenthesis? Yep. You remember the reason why. Don't ever forget. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? Can't forget that. Order of operations. Okay? I mean, switching some things up happened in the 80s, you know, when we're wearing bras outside our shirts. But, you know, once Madonna kind of grew up, it's time for us to make some changes. Because we can't be walking around in our 50s and 60s with our bras outside of our shirt. Look crazy. People ready to put us committed. All right. Oh, to Johns Hopkins. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm closer to Morgan. If I may, like, do that. Ah, fun. All right. Okay. So, There we go, Antonia. We need to distribute first. Okay, do the distribution first before we combine like terms. Can you come up to solve? No. Because I've tried that before. Oh, in Towson. Okay. You work at Hopkins? Oh, it's like a family reunion up in here. Would this be 0? Let's see. Okay. So you never know. Isn't it funny, like, how you might, like, seen people before and then you're like, wait a minute. I recognize you from, TikTok, or I recognize you from Facebook. I haven't gotten to that famous yet. Yet is the operative word. All right. So if you got some answers, go ahead and put them up. Let's see, says the blind man. So C4 is saying like 16n is greater than 0. Okay, Boot is saying 1n is greater than or equal to, I think that's equal to, then 0. Okay, I got a -10. I have a 1 with a question mark. Create nickname. Welcome in. All right. Let me see a couple more answers. Remember, question marks are answers too. If you're not sure, go ahead and put a question mark in. Okay, at least that's something. So we got 16n is greater than equal to 0. All right. So let us see. Let's see what we got here. All right, so first thing, okay, demonstrate. All right. And I don't know. Okay, well, hello, Allison. Thank you for introducing. Because it's funny how everyone see Big Al and you would never think you were in Allison. But welcome in. All right, first thing we need to do is distribute, okay? Anytime we can do that opportunity, we can distribute. Or if you want to divide both sides by 2, you could have done that as well. I will show both ways, and then you get to pick which way works for you. So first I would distribute. So I got 2 times 6, that gives me 12. Plus 2 times 4n, that gives me 8n. Then I have greater than or equal to 12 minus 8n. So they're not exactly the same. One's positive, one's negative. But I need to put my n's on one side and my numbers on the other. So if I want to, in which we will, I'm going to move this 8n. So I'm going to add 8n. Always do the opposite. Do its inverse. So I'm going to add 8n on both sides. So the 8n's on the right-hand side are going to cancel out and give me 0, but I don't need the 0 because the 12 is here. But while we're here, if I'm moving my n's over here, that means I can move this 12 over to the other side. So these can cancel out, okay, and gives me 0. But then here I have 8n plus 8n. That gives me 16n. All right. I didn't multiply or divide by a negative, so that means it stays the same. So that's greater than or equal to. And then what's left over here, I need my 0 as a placeholder this time because my 8n's canceled out, and as you can tell, my 12's are going to cancel out. So I need something to even things out. All right. So now from here, you might want to solve for n. Okay, just finish it out. I see a lot of people who are like, oh, here's your answer. We all know it's going to be 0, but just finish it out. Divide both sides by 16 because we want to get n by itself. So that means we have n, and since we divided by a positive 16, My inequality sign stays exactly the same. 0 divided by 16 will give me 0. All right, good. Good, by 16. See, you are smart. What are you talking about, Zach? What are you talking about? All right, so now we get our number line going. We just need the 0. We don't need the whole entire number line, people. If you want, hey, go ahead, knock yourself out. But taking a look, open or closed? Open or closed? Okay. Good, Antonio. Good, C4. Good, Zach. Okay. Look, Colt, remember, if there's a line underneath, it's going to be closed. All right, Shug. All right, Bebe. All right. Kimberly. Good. Okay. So if there's a line underneath, it's going to be a dot. It's going to be a closed dot. I don't want to say a closed circle because that's just... Really? All right. So now, which way is going to make this a true statement? Shading my points to the right or to the left? Okay, we got to the right because it's greater than. All right, it's greater than. So if it's greater than, if you use it as an arrowhead, if your variable is on the left-hand side, just like what Moody said earlier, if our variable is on the left-hand side, you can use your inequality symbol as an arrowhead. It's pointing to the right. So n is greater than or equal to 0. So that means we're dealing with 0 and anything larger, all the way to positive infinity. All right. You okay? Hey, Danny. Who says math isn't fun? It's always kind of interesting. Good. You're feeling better? There we go, Shug. That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear, especially you. I wanted to hear that you feel better. Okay? So now, let us take it a step further. Okay? It's going to take it a step further. Yep, once you get the flow of it. All right. Don't tempt me, Antonia. Because I'm about to show you something that you're like, what? What? What is this? What is this? All right, so here we go. So we have -1, I'm going to put it to the side so it won't blend in, is less than 9 plus n is less than 17. You're like, whoa. Why is there 2 inequality signs? It will humble us. It's okay. All right. So for this is called a compound inequality. So basically, we're looking at 2 inequalities meshed together. Okay, so compound inequalities. So it's basically 2 inequalities meshed together. So if I cover this side up, I have -1 is less than 9 plus n. If I cover this side up, I'll have 9 plus n is less than 17. Here's a trick. Ready? One, or a tip really. Your inequalities should always go the same direction. So far that I've seen in most exams, most textbooks, everyone always has a less than going on, either less than or equal to. They're always going in the same direction. If you see an inequality going in two separate directions, yeah, it's probably going to be a null set. Okay? That's what I've experienced so far. Again, things are changing, but if you're taking your GED or your AccuPlacer, most of those examinations are older. They're constantly redoing or repurposing the exams over and over and over again, okay? And since they've been written, they're not type of people that are like, you know what, we want to write a new test every year. No, they're not doing that, all right? So the way that you solve compound inequalities is to work from the inside out. All right. So let me rip this in half. And what I mean by that, let's look in between those two inequalities. Got crazy with the rip. So in order for n to be by itself, I need to get rid of the 9. How would I get rid of the 9? I know you probably said it already. Good. Okay, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Okay, Mauve is saying minus the 9. Okay, Danny, there you go. Minus the 9, minus the 9. Boot, minus the 9. Good. And then minus, yep, subtract. So we're going to subtract that 9. Now, here's the best thing. When you subtract the 9 here in the center, you're going to subtract the 9 over here. Okay, as well as subtracting the 9 over the 17. So you want to subtract. If you're going to do any kind of operation in the middle, you got to do the same things on the sides. Okay, so perfect. That means this 9 minus 9, they cancel out, give me a 0, but we don't need the 0 because the n is still in the middle. Still there, and that is our goal. So since we just subtracted, the directions of my inequalities don't change. Okay, only changes when I'm multiplying or dividing by a negative number. So now all we have to do is over here we got -1 and -9. So -1 minus 9, that gives me a -10. I saw someone put that into the chat. Good job. I'm going to have to take a look to see who it was because everything is just flying through. And then 17 minus 9, that gives me a positive 8. Okay. Right. Good, Nicole. Good, baby. Good. All right. So they're gone. Good. Now, this is solved, and this is how you know you can stop. When your variable is by itself in between the two inequalities. So now from here, we're going to draw a graph. And you're probably like, whoa, wait, how can we draw the graph? Well, we got two numbers. So we're going to put both of those numbers on the same number line. So since this side is going all the way to -infinity, -10 is going right here. And since this side is going to positive infinity, my 8 is going here. So now, on the 8, open or closed? Okay, open or close? At the 8, open or closed? Bebe's saying open. C4, both are going to be open. Okay, Kyle, open. Antonia, open. Boots, open. Kimberly, open. Open, open, open. Both, open. All right. So it's going to be open for the 8 because there's no line underneath with inequality, so it's also going to be open for the 10. Now, here's the thing. Which way are we going to shade? So let's start with this one. We're saying n is less than 8. Okay, so it's not including 8, but we're dealing with everything less than 8. So that means we're looking at from negative 8, from 8 all the way down to infinity. Okay. Now if I swing to the other side, we're saying negative 10 is less than n. So that means the negative 10 is the absolute lowest you can go. So all the numbers that's proven for this is going to be greater than. So that's going to be shading this way. So with compound inequalities, this is considered an AND statement. So both of those inequalities, all your true solutions are going to be in between negative 10 and positive 8. Okay. So if I plug 0, because 0 is in that, if I plug 0 for the n, I'm going to have 9. So if I look at it, negative 1 is less than 9. That's a true statement. Then I come over here. If n is 0, this will give me 9. So it's 9 less than 17. Yes, that's a true statement. So that means that number 0 can be one of our solutions because it gave us a true statement. All right. So when it's looking like this, like two inequalities, this is an AND statement. I'm going to show you an OR statement in a second. OR statements is always a little bit funky, but doable. Let's see. Sometimes they actually write the word AND, or sometimes they'll just simply write it out like this for an AND statement. Let's see. Okay. Let's go with this one. So we have r plus 5 is greater than or equal to 12, or r over 9 is less than 0. Okay, let me clean up my area here a little bit. Okay. All right. It does, yes. Okay. Now, this is an OR statement. Okay, we will need something. It's going to either be this or that. So the way that you solve it, it's kind of similar to solving just regular plain inequalities. Cover one up and then focus on that one. Okay, don't think of it as one big inequality. So from here, what are we going to do? We have r plus 5 is greater than or equal to 12. What are we going to do first? Okay, Nicole saying minus 5. Okay, Danny saying minus 5. Okay, C4 saying minus 5. All right, good. Boots saying yep. Kimberly, subtract 5. Good. All right. So whatever we do to one side of the inequality, we do to the other side, just like when you're solving the equation in the line, okay? Or just any kind of equations. So these are going to give me 0, but I don't need the 0 because I still have this r available. So that means the r is going to come on down. Now, since I subtract, my inequality sign is going to stay right where it is. So that's still going to be greater than or equal to 12 minus 5. We got our 7, our positive 7. Good. All right. So that takes care of that inequality. So now, covering this up. And now we're looking at r over 9, which is less than 0. What should I do this time? If I want to solve for r. Multiply. Good. Okay, we want to multiply both sides. Well, it's going to be tough to divide because we don't know what that r is. But since this fraction is representing division, the inverse of division, there we go. We're going to multiply by 9. So multiply this side by 9, multiply this side by 9. 9s are going to cancel out because 9 divided by 9 gives me 1, but we still have this r. So since we divide it by a positive 9, the direction of my inequality stays exactly the same. And then we have 0 times 9, like a lot of you guys are saying, is 0. Okay. Okay. Oh, good. I love that you're here. All right. So now let's bring out our graph. Okay, so we have two numbers here. One number is going to go here. Another number is going to go here. Which number goes here? This gets a lot of students because they get so tunnel vision after a while. What goes here? C4 saying 0, Nicole saying 7, Marco saying 0. Kai is saying 0. Is it Kai or Key? Boots is 0. Pog, hey Pog, 0. Antonia, Bebe, okay, 0, 0, 0, 0. Yes, okay, you don't know? That's fine. If we're thinking about a number line, this is a positive 7. There we go. This is a 0. Okay. Mississippi, 5. What are you talking about? We only have a 7 and a 0. So, since we're thinking about the number line, and this is going all the way to positive infinity, and this one's going all the way to negative infinity, which one's smaller? It's going to be the 0. Because some of us, we get so tunnel vision and so worried, we forget to switch them or put them in their proper space. Now, we didn't divide any of them by a negative number, which is awesome. So now, open for the 0 or closed. Yep, only can go positive, no negative. There you go. All right, Boots open, 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 open. IP. Open, closed. Maria, closed, closed, open. Okay, so we're looking at the 0, not the 7. Yes. Why open? Because underneath the inequality, there isn't a line. So you're not including the 0. Only when it has a line, you include that number. So on the 7, it will be closed. But on 0, it will be open. Okay, makes sense? All right, yes. Open for the 0, closed on the 7. Yes, closed for 7. Good. All right. Okay, you're welcome. All right. So now we got to take it separate because this is an or statement. We need to take a look to see what's happening. So we're saying r is less than 0. So here's 0. So less than 0 is basically all this down here, right? Going to negative infinity. But here, they're saying r is greater than or equal to 7. Here's 7. If it's greater than, that's going to the right. And this is one way that you can have your or statements. And statements always meet in the middle. All the time. Don't matter. Doesn't matter. It's always meeting in the middle. Or statements can do something funky. Sometimes they can go in two separate directions. Sometimes both of them will overlap and go in one direction or the other. But or statements, they're not meeting in the middle. They're either overlapping and, like I said, and going in one direction, or they're going each their own way. Like myself and my husband. My ex. We're going our own separate ways. But you know, that's what happens. All right. I see. Good. All right. Let's look at another one. Let's see. Let's see if we can do one of each. Okay. I'm going to try this one. Oops. Let's see. Let's try this one. So we have -3 less than or equal to p over -2 less than 0. Okay. So -3 less than or equal to p over -2, which is less than 0. I will be here tomorrow, yes. And I will actually be on time because I don't have anyone that late. So I will be here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And thank you so much for stopping by. And if you want to know the rest of our live, I put all of my live recordings on my YouTube channel. So if you want to take a look and subscribe to my YouTube channel, remember, it's a free subscription. All right, just go to Audrey Codner ACG Math Tutoring. You can take, I'm going to shrink it down a little bit so you can take a screenshot if you need to. But ever since February 5th, that's how long I've been doing lives, especially these type of lives on TikTok. And it may take me some time to upload this one because it always does. But you can definitely check it out on if you need to go right now. All right. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Yeah. All right. So if you do need, you want to see the rest of like what happened, how did this end, you can go to my YouTube channel. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Okay. All right, let me zoom back in. Sorry. Taking it out of there. Hey, Candy Girl. Okay, all right, no problem. All right. So I got a couple. C4 says 6 is greater than or equal to P, which is greater than 0. Interesting. Boots is saying is P -6. Well, P is going to be a range of numbers. Okay, good. Good night to you. Thanks for stopping in. All right. So, any other answers? Remember, question marks is an answer. You're like, I think I got it, but I'm not too sure. You can put a question mark now. Or if you're just like, yeah, no, put a question mark down. Okay. All right. Thank you for your honesty, Nicole. We'll subscribe. Okay. Well, thank you, Zach. Appreciate it. Okay. No problem. We are just trying to basically solve this inequality, and then we're going to graph it together. All right. Thanks for sharing a lot of math. I'm on the wrong part of TikTok. That's how we sucked you in, back end, Drew. Welcome. You're like, no. I'm like, no, it's okay. Well, hang around. See what happens. That's how half of these guys got in here. They're like, wait, what's going on? All you did was liked maybe one video sometime this week, maybe to help you out with a math class, and then all of a sudden here comes the algorithm, you know? It's weird. You find like one fashion, you're just like, ooh, I want to see if I can buy that toothpaste again. And the next thing you know, you're seeing the advertisement for the toothpaste everywhere. It's like, geez, it was just that one time. All right. Aw, thanks. Okay. All right, cool. If anything, just follow along. You never know. So here we go. Like I said, we have -3 less than or equal to p over -2 less than 0. So as we mentioned, this is a compound inequality. We want to work from the inside out. So what do we have to do to get p by itself? Yes, Antonia, we need to isolate, but what do we have to do to isolate our p? What do we think? If it's in a fraction, what do we think? Yes, we need to multiply. Good. Multiply by -2. Good. Multiply by 2. Distribute. Multiply. Multiple is 2. Multiply. Yes. So let's do 2 birds with 1 stone. We're going to multiply this middle by -2. We're going to multiply this end by -2. And we're going to multiply this end by -2. Okay. What happens in the middle is -2 divided by -2 gives me a +1. Okay, so since it gives me a +1, we still have the p. So that p is coming on down. Now, over here, we have 0 times -2. That's going to give me 0. Then over here, we have -2 times -3. What would that give me? Nice. C4. Good. Negative times a negative gives me a positive. Good, Nicole. +6, in fact. Good, baby. There you go, Maria. Good job. Kimberly, good job. Okay. So it gives us a +6. But because we multiplied, and I think it was C4 and someone else said it, because we're multiplying by a -2, that means our inequalities are going to change the direction of the sign. So instead of less than or equal to, it's going to be greater than or equal to. Instead of less than, it's going to be greater than. Okay, are we okay so far? All right, so now let's graph. All right, good. Thanks, Kimberly. I'm like, you guys still alive? You're still with me? We're doing all right? So we have a number here, and we have a number here. Okay. What's going to go here? What's going to go here? Nicole, baby, good. Brad's boots. Baby, who are you teaching? I try Just all step by step. It's all step by step. Good. Get rid of the question marks. Ladies, you got that. Good. We have our 0. That means this is our 6. So, on the 0, is it going to be open or closed? Open or closed? Oh, well, thank you. You know, I don't want to be abrasive. We got too much. So let's think the 0. Okay, I know right away everyone's eyes went to this one. But the one that's associated with the 0, where my pieces of paper went. Okay, so if I cover that up, we're looking at P is greater than 0. So that is going to be an open circle. All right. But for the other one, got a little crazy with the tearing. Okay, for the 6, what do we have? Oh, good. Yay. All right, so that would be closed. Good. Good, Nicole. Good, Zach. There you go, C4. There you go, Ray-Ban Ray. There you are. Okay, good, Maria. All right. So if there is a line underneath, I'm going to see if I can switch up this color a little bit just to give it some depth. All right. You remember the line. Good. Yes. Okay, because it has a line underneath. There you go, South Africa. How are you? All right. So now, this is when we got to figure out our shading. So I'm going to cover this up. We're saying P is greater than 0. So that means I'm shading to the right. Okay? It'll be all the way over to the right if I had to. This one, if I cover up the other side, this is saying 6 is greater than or equal to P. So that means at 6, I'm looking at numbers that are less than P. But where my answers to this solution is going to be right here, right smack in the middle. That's where they overlap. Okay, that's when they overlap. And when I used to teach this in the classroom, I would do like a green highlight. No, I would do like a blue highlighter and the yellow, and it will change to a lovely little green. Right? Because yellow and blue makes green. And then everyone can actually see it. All right. So since we're so used to, especially this part, we're saying 6 is greater than P. So that means P is less than 6. So that means you're shading all the numbers that are less than and including 6. If I go this way, I have P is greater than 0. So here's 0, and I'm looking at numbers that are larger than 0. But where these two overlap is right here in the center. Okay, right there in the center. Back and show me what you did when you multiply the 2 and the P. Sure. Okay, oh, no apologies. This is why we're here. We're here to learn. All right, so since inside it was, cover up a little bit, okay, since we have P over -2, when you see it as a fraction bar, that's division. The inverse of division is multiplication. So in order for me to cancel out this -2, I have to multiply by a -2. So -2 divided by -2 gives me a +1. So that will be a 1p. That's where that p came from. But not only do you multiply what's inside by a -2, you got to multiply this right side by -2. That's where the 0 came from. And you got to multiply that left side by -2. That's where the +6 came from. Okay, you get it? Good. Okay, he's watching me. Aw, sweet. I'll try to keep my language nice and clean. Today's one of those days. Trust me, don't pluck the bear. All right, so since we multiplied by a negative number, that's why the directions of the inequality changed. Okay, so if you notice it was less than or equal to and less than, and now it's greater than or equal to and greater than, it's because you multiplied by a negative number. Okay, Disney language. Oh no, we can't even use that. Disney's about to freaks. Yeah, look really close at these Disney movies. They are not designed for little kids. Never in the middle, but overlap one direction. In the middle is either. Yeah, please. And the middle, wait, hold on. Never in the middle, but overlap in one direction. And is the middle either direction? Yeah, so ands are always going to meet in the middle. And statements are always going to meet in the middle. Whereas or statements can go into both directions, or they could overlap in one direction or the other. Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, I heard that Aladdin. Trust me, it was me and a group of friends, and we're just like, what? Whatever. And yeah, the part where, what was her name? Jasmine? And she was in her little boudoir, and he's outside, and the bee is talking to him. Turn it all the way up. Turn it all the way up. You will hear people like, shh, should we do it? I don't know. Should we do it? Do it? Yeah, do it. No, seriously. Turn it all the way up. And it says, good little children, take off your clothes. I am not lying. Disney is a bunch of freaks. Okay? Have fun with the mouse. Yes! Trust me. You go ahead. Tell me. God, go ahead. I heard it with my own ears. Like all of us were like, what? And it's with him and the bee. He's outside. The tiger is like right by the window. He's just before a whole new world. Then there is the carpet is holding him, and then the genie is now a bee, and he's like buzzing around like, yeah, you gotta go, like you should talk to her, you gotta go and talk to her, yeah. And if you turn your all the way up, you will hear it. That's your homework assignment for tonight. I'm not. It's crazy. I know. There is so much innuendos in Disney. It's, oh my God. It's hilarious. Yeah. So anyway, there's that. All right. So it is almost that magical hour. I know. Watch. Aladdin. Boot. That was the original Little Mermaid. Yeah. About that. Yeah. And you're all sitting here like, yeah, let's go to Disney. I'm like, why? Why do you want to go to Freakville? It is a riot. Oh my goodness. All right, so that was the and statement that I promised, and I did promise another or statement. So we got one more. One more. And I have to do point slope tomorrow, because I don't want to confuse too much with interval notation, but I will do that. Let's see. I'm gonna try this one. So we have -10b plus 3 is less than or equal to negative 37, or, I don't mean to corrupt anybody's children, but I didn't invent it, but I heard it with my own ears. Okay. Give this one what's overlap? I'm dying. What's overlap? Overlap means one lays on top of the other. Okay? One's going in one direction, the other's going in another direction, and then where it basically does what it does, overlaps. I'm probably gonna have some. Why is there so many followers today? Well, I was talking about Disney and and watch. I'm probably gonna get hate mail from Disney TikTok or Disney Talk or something like that, because I know that exists. It's always something. Okay. All right. Yes, and when it's an and expression, yes. Disney sees you. Yeah, they're probably stalking me right now. Come on. Because they're like, oh, let's count how many times that someone says the word Disney. Look at all the money we're making. Oh, wait, this person. You don't think they're listening to this conversation right now? Please, we're being completely controlled by the government. Watch, all of a sudden, FBI's going to be banging down my door, planting all kinds of stuff in my house. Anyway, what's the formula for this teacher? Actually, it's not a huge formula. It's just solving for the variable. And the variable is B. So what you could do is solve them individually. Solve one for B, then solve the other for B. Oh, well, thank you, South Africa. Oh, thank you. All right, so C4 is saying B is greater than or equal to 4, or B is less than or equal to negative 5. Okay, let's see. Okay, anyone else found something? Or you were just too busy laughing at me? Which is perfectly fine. I'm here to bring joy to people's lives. I'm not a jolly old elf, but you know. Okay. Need more time? Or are you waiting for me? And ice? Okay. Can you combine the like terms? Yes, you can. All right. Okay, I'll wait a little bit longer. While we're waiting, you can tap. That would be awesome. I like these little icons with the tabs. They're so cute. I see hearts and crowns, but is it 2 chicken wings, or is it? It looks like a drumstick, or maybe because I'm hungry. I don't know what it is. Okay. All right, ready? Okay, what was the question? Tornado! How are you? So we are solving basically each of these inequalities for B. Okay, you're stuck? Okay. All right. Let's go through it step by step. I'm going to enlarge a little bit. I'm going to shove this over so we can focus on the 1. So I'm going to focus on the 1 on the left. So we want to get B by itself. What's the first thing we should do? What's the first thing we should do? It's not 13B. We should be, subtracting. There we go. We should be subtracting this 3 on both sides. So 3 minus 3 cancels out, gives me 0. But I don't need the 0 because I still have my negative 10B left on this side. I just subtracted, so my inequality sign stays exactly the same. So negative 10B is less than or equal to what? Good. Kai's reading my mind. That's a dangerous place there, brats. So we have a negative 40 because both signs are negative. Okay, we can go ahead and combine those like terms. Since they're the same sign, all we have to do is just add them together, keep with the negative symbol. Now, we're going to divide both sides by negative 10. Okay, so when we do that, what's happening? We divide by negative 10. Good. What's happening? Flip. Good. We switch the direction of the signs. Good. Okay. So we still get our B. Instead of less than or equal to, the equal to still is there. But we're not going less than. We're going to be going greater than or equal to. Now, negative 40 divided by negative 10. A negative divided by a negative, that gives me a positive. And 40 divided by 10 gives me 4. Okay, we're good? Good. 4. Good. 4. All right. Don't forget the equal to. I know it's kind of weird to type in the equal to, but that's what's happening. All right, so that's one side. Now, we need to work on the other side. So I'm going to slide this over. All right. What should we do first? Okay, Tornado Chaser saying plus 10. Okay, C4 says add 10. Okay, Nicole says add 10. Kimberly says subtract 25 or the minus 25. Okay, Reed. Hello, Reed. Add 10. Okay, Boots. Yes, and Ephraim. Add 10. Good. So we're adding 10 to both sides because we want to isolate the B. So when we do that, we have our 3B. We have less than or equal to, because all we did was add 10. Okay, there we go, Kimberly. There we go, Maria. Good. So negative 25 plus 10 gives me what? Why do we add 10? Sure. If it's originally minus 10, you always do the inverse, the opposite. So you're going to add 10 on both sides. And do we agree with negative 15? Okay. So negative 25 plus 10. The signs are opposite, so that means I'm subtracting, and I'm keeping the sign of the largest number. Easiest way to remember, I owe somebody $25. I paid them $10. Now I owe them 15. When you owe, you're in the negative. All right? So if you think of that money-wise, I know I do. I'll be like, shoot, pay me my money. Okay? So now we're going to divide both sides by 3. because we're trying to get b by itself. 3 divided by 3 gives me 1, or we're just going to write down our b. Since we divided by a positive 3, my inequality sign stays exactly the same. So less than or equal to. Less than or equal to what? Good, Nicole. Okay. Okay, no problem. Could be mine. All right, no flip. Good, Nicole, we got -5. Tornado change to -5. F from -5. Good. Okay. Although we get a negative for the answer, that's not what makes changes in signs. The direction of change of the sign comes from when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Okay? All right. Good, Andrea. There you are. So now, let's go ahead, draw our graph. Doesn't have to be huge, but it has to be seen. I feel like the old Wonder Woman on the plane, she's sitting on the plane, and you're like, girl, where are you sitting on? You're like, it's a plane. And you're like, oh, okay. I love that Wonder Woman. Linda Carter was the best. All right, so we have 2 numbers here, so we're going to have 1 number right here and 1 number right here. What number should come down here? What number should be here? Okay, is that the -5s for before or now? I think it's from, all right, yes, -5s, good. Negative numbers are always, because you're coming down to negative infinity. Okay, this is positive infinity. And this is a positive 4. Okay, on the -5, I was seeing something. Open or closed on the -5? Open or closed? Okay, I got closed, I got closed, I got closed, I got closed. Good. There's a line underneath. So that means this is going to be closed. All right. For the 4, open or closed? Okay, Reed saying closed. Do we agree? I guess so, because we got closed for C4, closed for Nicole, closed for Maria, closed for Efren, closed for Tornado Chaser. All right. So now let's take it step by step. So for the B, it says B is greater than or equal to 4. So that means we're looking at numbers that starting at 4 going all the way up to positive infinity. Then we have B is less than or equal to, did I screw up? No, I didn't. Is less than or equal to -5. So at -5, we're dealing with less than, so it's shading away. So they're going into 2 separate directions. One's going this way, the other one's going this way. Okay. All right. How are we feeling about this? How are we feeling? Feeling better? Feeling confident? Very good? Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, look up Linda Carter, for goodness sake. All right, I'm already old. You don't have to make me feel older. But thanks for stopping in, Boots. I appreciate you. In or not in the middle. Yes. because ands only meet in the middle. Okay, ors either split or they overlap one direction or overlap another direction. All right, cool. So this is considered an or statement, hence the word or right here. Okay, it's considered an or statement. Okay. All righty then. All right, so that was a combination of compound inequalities as well as just regular inequalities. Okay. No, no duh. Trust me. It's late. Like, surprised I'm able to still speak. So trust me. No worries. So yeah, if anything, one of the things I've been working on today, because I am planning on, and I did a lot of things, but I'm still wondering how many people might be interested in this course that I'm trying to do. I'm like been playing around with numbers, playing around with stuff like, and it's really going to be for people that are just basic algebra, looking at GED, looking at tests, TEAS test, as well as ASVAB. So I'm really focusing on those three because it seemed like a lot of stuff is very similar. So I'm just really kind of curious like how many people are really interested in this and want to do it during the summer. And for me to hit on all the concepts, originally I wanted 8 weeks, but now it looks like it's going to be 12 weeks if I'm going to hit on everything. And that's going to take us, and I want to start June the 10th. And it's going to take us to roughly like close to the end, just before kids start in August. So there will be replays. There will be opportunity for growth to get your questions answered. But I really would love to see how many, to see if it's worthwhile. Raising a hand. All right. YouTube file. Oh, thank you. Okay. Slopes tomorrow. Tomorrow we're actually going to be working on point slope. So we're going to be working on equation line and how to get point slope form, because we did standard. Hold on. My days are getting all kinds of crazy. Yeah, we did standard form last night. So yeah, we're going to do point slope. And if you do like, here's another way that if you want to support, I know some people are probably sick and tired of me saying this. If I fail this exam tomorrow, I will do the summer session. Okay. Well, let's think positive. Okay, you're going to be taking Algebra 13, 14. Every state has the numbers so different. Now, I also have online tutoring. So, hey, keep that in mind. Trying to pass your math GSD. Yes. What about you got a class in the summer? Yes, in the summer, I am working on getting like basic concepts. So adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions, decimals, talking about percentages, like all the basic concepts that they have for Algebra 1 to really get people prepared if they're thinking about taking community college classes. But it's also beneficial for those that are taking the ASVAB, because I'm going to hit on all those concepts as well. And if you're thinking about going into nursing and you have to pass the TEAS test and the algebra component of it, this is going to help you as well. So I am planning on starting that June the 10th. I was just really curious as to like how many people will be interested in it. Taking the GED tomorrow. Yes, you're going to do fine. You're going to do fine. And just take your time through it, okay? If anything, look over your linear equations, because anything with slope, linear equations, those are your 4-point questions. You want to try to hit as many as those as you can possible, as well as your arithmetic, okay? You're going to be fine. You're going to be good. Anticipating the SAT to begin community college. Okay, definitely. Yes. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking community college class this summer. All right, perfect. So here's my thing, Rough Nut. I just wanted to say your name. I know, immature I am. But if anything, if you get stuck, and this is what I'm noticing with a lot of students, I know people don't want to pay for tutoring. They're like, hey, I can go to the community center or I can go to the student center and there's like free tutors there. That's great. And I want you to get the support that you want. Sometimes, I don't know, based on what I've been hearing from some of my students, they're just like, they make you feel icky. Like, they make you feel dumb. Like, you don't know this? And I'm like, I hate when people do that. So for me, just like how I tutor doing these things with you guys, I do it exactly the same way. Just taking it step by step. You're asking questions along the way. Why is this? Why is that? And if I have to repeat stuff, I repeat stuff. So, but if you do need a tutor, don't wait until like the 11th hour. Like, oh my God, I'm about to take my final and I got to put all this stuff in. It's going to be hard. You're going to be overwhelmed. I'll do it, but you're going to be overwhelmed, right? And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to understand every step of the way. So when it's time for you to take your final or any kind of assessment, you could be like, all right, I feel pretty confident with this. I'd rather you go in with confidence than, just go in there scared as I don't know what. Where did I get this book? I created this book. This is one of 3. So I just got sick and tired of having my students not have notes. Like, have you noticed kids don't do notes anymore? Because their teachers are giving them packets, and what they do is they take the packet and they just chuck it in their bag, aka the black hole. And then they don't look at it until they say, oh, we're having an open notes quiz. And they're thinking, oh, great. And then they're like, wait, this is some science homework. And this is a whole mixture of stuff. So I decided to create a book where they can actually put their formulas in, write down their steps, put some space for them to work out some problems. And if they need some extension, there's some extension that's happening on this side as well. And in addition to this, if they're not strong with multiplication, I have what's called a factor sheet. So if they need to know the factors of numbers to help reduce radicals, to help reduce or to factor for quadrilaterals, all that's here. Most people have pages that goes up from 1 to 100. I have a factor sheet that goes up to 200, okay? Because this is really supposed to be designed for older students. And as well as we have the rules of integers, the most used words for some word problems, just some other like resources that will help us out. Okay, we got the standard form for linear equations. We got the formula for slope, point slope form. That's what we're going to be working on tomorrow. Then order of operations, properties of exponents, looking at area and perimeter. Then we have volume, surface area. So it's like it starts getting into some more of the advanced stuff, Pythagoras theorem, a little bit of other trig identities, and the unit circle. As well as give you a little bit of brain break. Everyone needs a brain break. Sometimes you just need to get off the phone and just veg out for a little bit. So, and that's usually helpful for students when they get overwhelmed and sometimes they just want to just relax. So yeah, it's 100 of these Cornell inspired notes, and you can get it from my TikTok shop, not yet. Still have to research that. Off of my website. I have my own online bookstore called Books by Audrey Codner. I know, finally been self-published. It only took months. So if anything, you can go and you can order from there. I also have them on Amazon, but I am really not earning anything off of Amazon. I feel like I'm just working for Amazon and I'm being their beep. So I'm getting tired of that. I want to get my own stuff together. So if you look and it says the Ultimate Math Notebook, you'll see like 3 different covers. And if you actually you're just like, you know what, Audrey, I just want to buy your notes. Like, I like how your notes look, and I think this will help me out. I have something called Audrey's Notes. So with Audrey's Notes, okay, with Audrey's Notes, you actually get copies, virtual copies of my notes. So the cover of it looks like this. And then you go through it, and it's exactly like my notes. So it's all printed in color, okay? And I actually decided to put and make those into books so they're ready to go. So again, you can get that on Books by Audrey Codner. And if you notice, each of them has a QR code. This one's down here. It's like, it was kind of hard to fit it. All right, but the QR code will take you directly to the live that is connected to this page. So all you have to do is just scan it, and it goes directly to the live that's connected to this. All right. So the earlier ones, so I know if you ever want to do, I can't do bulks from my thing, but if you do want to get like the 2-book bundle or the 3-book bundle, they're only for digital. Okay, but you can get the book 1, book 2, and book 3 is ready to go. All right. Can you link the name? Sure. That's the one thing about TikTok. It's really hard to put links up. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Ooh, let's try it again. Now. All right, so both of the books are on there. You have this one. I do have one for 4th and 6th graders, but what happens is like these tiles or these grids are a lot bigger, so the kids can actually write in them and keep track of their units. So this is for the 4th through 6th. And I know it could definitely go for younger kids as well. So they can write down the formula that they're working on. They can make notes of the steps that they're doing. And then this is really cool for like homeschool. Like you can keep track of your kids. Like how are they feeling about the lesson? And this was something that I wanted my students to do as well. Like before the lesson, how are you feeling? Because when you ask a kid, especially when they're teenagers, like, how are you feeling? They're just going to be like, fine, yeah, good. But you have no idea. It's easier just to ask them to circle, and then you can continue on with the lesson. But for the younger ones, so they can keep up with their ones places, their tens, their hundreds, and they also receive the same support as they would for the other book. Okay, so they still have the same factor sheet, but they have a little more definition about what are fractions, give you some examples of things that they can use for fractions, how to convert from a percent to a decimal, fraction to a decimal, fractions operations, also placeholders, like what's the place values, the decimal operation, and then estimating and rounding, as well as long division. We need to teach our kids long division because you're going to see long division when you go into Algebra 2. Trust and believe. Kids struggle with this. Young men and young women struggle with this because they've never been given the opportunity to do long division by hand. Once these things called calculators came into the classroom, they just scrapped that. All right. So I think a 3rd grader could use this because it's nice and big enough for them to put their numbers in there. And if they're into like any kind of, not what's it called? All of a sudden I had the thought in my head and it just like disappeared. Any kind of like drawing, and they like pixel art. If they like pixel art, they can do a little pixel art with some of the pages. And then we have all the other resources, conversion, that's in there, order of operations, the same thing, area and perimeter, And then we have volume and surface area. Some of them do, this is the most common ones that they use at that age group, as well as, word problems. So, and then they have their same little brain breaks, a little bit different from the other ones, but, kind of similarities. Just do a little endless coloring and then like, what's on your playlist? They can write their favorite songs of their playlist. And then if they want to do pixel art or just do some sketching, give them some room to do that as well. All right. And then, of course, there's an answer key to the back. Yeah. A friend of mine told me I should do that. I was like, ah. Okay. All right. You're struggling. Why are you struggling? And relieved in the end. Okay. Yep. Books by Audrey Codner. Yes. So one of the books for pre-algebra. Okay, you can do that. You can do long division. But if anything, that's what I wanted. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yep. So it's like I try to put these things together. As I said before, now I can't find my paper. Now my desk is a mess. Okay. Yeah, so as I said before on my lives, if you've missed the live and you're like, oh, I really wanted to know what she was talking about, you can go to my YouTube channel, Audrey Codner. Go ahead and just subscribe there. And I have a playlist. Tonight is going to take me a little bit to upload it, but it will be uploaded. But right now, everything since February the 2nd is under a playlist that says TikTok Lives. I do go live basically every day. On Saturdays and Sundays is 8:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday is at 9:30 p.m. I was a little late. I was late today. Let's just because I had a student that I had to finish up with. And then on Friday at 1 p.m. And again, I'm available for private tutoring. So if you're currently taking a class or you just started taking a class, and after the first class, you're like, I have no idea what my professor is talking about, please contact me. I know how to translate professor. And especially when you haven't been in school for a while and then you try to get back in, they will go by fast, okay? Very quickly. And I already told you about the notebooks, but if you want, I do have on-demand courses. Now, here's one thing, guys. Once you pay for this stuff, like these are services, I can't get that service back. So it's just I put it out there, but I guess I need to say this each and every time. Like all sales are final, okay? It's not like you can give me your knowledge back, okay? And then a lot of people are starting to, let me just copy all your stuff and then have the audacity to be like, yeah, I want my money back. And I'm like, but you probably took all my stuff and now you want me to, I was like, no. So all sales are final. You got my website, ACG Math Tutoring. And you can always ask me questions. If there's anything you get stuck on, you're like, hey, Audrey, can you look at this? I'm more than willing to respond back and give you a true answer, okay? Now, here's a couple people that I would love for you to follow. Okay, let me take a look. All right, no problem. So if you're thinking about doing nursing and you need someone to help you with doses calculations, make sure you follow a blessed RN. If you want some more examples, maybe a little bit earlier in time, like 1 p.m. Central Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow Miss Taylor from Impact Math 19. She does the TEAS test, the ASVAB, as well as GED, very similar to myself. Then we have a chemistry tutor. If you know that someone's looking for a chemistry tutor, check out Professor TK. She does go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once in a while, she might go live on the evening. So just be on the lookout for that one. And then if you want to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and you want to do it in a cool, really active way, check out my friend Learning with Lynette. She does math using the abacus. awesome. Like when I talk about brain stimulation, like whoever had the third grader, definitely take a look. Maybe this summer, just have them come on. I mean, just look at it. And I would say follow Learning with Lynette. And if you have anyone that needs a reading tutor or a math tutor for elementary, my friend, an online elementary tutor, Miss Nancy, she is definitely available with like pre-K or K. And if you're thinking about homeschooling, she has done it for years. So she can, if you're going to be new to it, she can help you build up your curriculum and maybe give you some assistance as you go along. All right. So yes, I like to give people plugs. I don't know if they do it for me. I'm perfectly fine with that. But when I see greatness, I like to share it with people. That's just who I am. All right. Yes. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yes. Morning. Good morning. How are you, Bo? Lovely to meet you. So, can I put the YouTube channel? Sure. Yep, this is basically my name, Audrey Codner, but we want the ACG math tutoring one. Okay, I have one that I talk about when I used to be a professional athlete and college athlete. I used to play professional basketball many, many moons ago. And my knees are bad now, so that's why. That's because of that. All right. Oh, not a problem, Candy Girl. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because I really do want to create a safe space for people. And I think it's because I had a horrible experience when I was learning math growing up. And I think I'm at that age where I'm supposed to give back. And this is my way of giving back, and as well as a way for me to, bring up my independence. I've been through a lot, and I feel like let math help me live a life that I want to live. And if I can help people feel great and empowered, let's do it. Okay. Good. So yeah, if you know of anyone else that can benefit from this, if they're thinking about taking the Accuplacer, if they're thinking about taking the ASVAB, I've already went to a couple of my local recruiting centers, and I know that they have their own, but there are some people that are just like, yeah, that was way too fast for me, or I just don't understand the tricks and bips, and I've done this course. Just reach out. I have courses online. You can ask me questions, and especially for the GED, I can definitely tell you. I didn't take it, but I've tutored a lot of people. And the past couple weeks, I've had 5 people. 3 take the ASVAB, 2 take the GEDs, and they all passed. So I must be doing something right. All right, so you guys have a lovely evening or afternoon or day. I'm going to sign off. But again, if you have any questions, even if we're not friends or whatever on TikTok land, but definitely message me. If you want tutoring, or if you know of anyone that needs tutoring, please send them my way, because I definitely need some clients. I had a slight moment of freaking out, like, oh my God, where are my clients? So if you know of anyone, if it's you, please reach out to me. And if you are one of my TikTok followers, I will definitely give you a discount. Okay. All right. All righty. Oh, thank you so much for 21K. Man, you guys are amazing. All right. So I will see you tomorrow night. We're going to be doing point slope and do some more graphing, and we're going to do some more talking of Disney. I think that was a knock at my door. All right, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Take care of yourselves. Good night.